Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Tribal Trades, the daily show coming to you from the great state of Florida. If you're in Florida, big shout out to you. I'm still here. I'm still enjoying the wonderful, friendly, hospitable, great weather state of Florida. Okay, wherever you're tuning in from around the world, I also want to welcome you, even if you're not from Florida. Smash that like button. That helps get this content out to more people, helps support the channel. Thank you so much for that. And of course, all the comments and questions I greatly appreciate, and I do look to get back to those as soon as possible. And if you'd like to join our ever-growing community, click that subscribe button and you'll be notified whenever I post a new video. Tons of links in the description below, including the most amazing Discord on planet Earth, the Stocks with Josh Discord. There are links below, a couple of plans that you can sign up. I'm there daily in the crypto chat with the most amazing people. Big shout out to that community. You are incredible. Okay, we're going to jump into some great fun stuff today. We've got some news items and articles, but first of all, I want to talk about the Bitcoin dominance here. As we see here, we are at the top of this wedge pattern, which is a bearish wedge pattern here. And so a breakdown from there. So I'm keeping an eye on this level around about right now. Obviously, as it keeps going up, this level moves up here. But around this 55, 56 level, we can break down from here. Then we can come down and really hit these 49, 50, 47 level, I feel. And that altcoin could explode if we can see that Bitcoin dominance drop. And certainly it is due a correction. It's been on a mammoth uptick almost for like 9 months. And so we certainly can break down from here at any time. At some point, we're going to be forced to break out of this wedge at one point or another. Obviously, it's still going November. We don't want to see it going that long. And I'll certainly continue it up if we don't break down sooner. But I'm expecting we will have a breakdown sooner rather than later. We can have a drop and then drop out of this pattern. And that would really be a good push for the altcoin market. Speaking of altcoin markets, the Ethereum has struggled a lot, and certainly a lot of people are a lot of comments out there, a lot of FUD. And look, I closed my HODL position completely, and I rolled into other tokens, which then went 100%. So I'm pretty glad about that because look, if I had have held it at 3,500 or 3,400, wherever I sold that at, obviously to go double from there, it would have to go to 7. So I made a good trade there. But in saying that, would I be selling my ETH at these levels? Look, we're right at the bottom here. And I mean, we've been in this channel since, we've been in this channel for a while, back in 2022. So we've been, the better coin, the better trade would have been Bitcoin. We have to ask ourselves, why were we in Ethereum anyway when Bitcoin has been so dominant and we would have made more money having been in Bitcoin? But now we're right at the bottom. The last time we touched the bottom here of this channel was in 2022. So I wouldn't be recommending selling Ethereum here. And I still have my Ethereum ETF. I still have my Ethereum swing trade that I'm trading, day trading, swing trading that. And so even though I sold my HODL and profited off that, and that was a good trade, and I'm glad I did that, certainly if you're in Ethereum, I'm not sure if now would be the time to be selling that. Before it dumped would have been the time, but I think certainly now would be the time to get back in the trade or to accumulate the trade or to hold what you've got. Not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. This is for education and entertainment purposes only, but certainly we could see Ethereum have a nice run and then drop up here. So once we start to see the Bitcoin dominance drop and this Ethereum chart begin to pivot and switch, and of course, at some point, this has to come out. Now, we don't want to be waiting till November 2025 for this to pop out. I think it can pop out a whole bunch sooner than that. So let's keep an eye on the Ethereum, Bitcoin. Those are two great metrics to have in your chart, the Bitcoin dominance and Ethereum Bitcoin chart to keep. And I hope with all of your altcoins, you measure it where there is. I know some altcoins don't have a Bitcoin pairing, but look at your altcoin and compare it to Bitcoin and not just USDT when you are charting, okay? All right, well, let's jump into some of the news. And the first thing I want to cover is Tron. Now, Tron, for me, I can't get into Tron. The whole Justin Sun thing doesn't quite really work for me. So let's look at Tron, the first piece of news. It has been crushing. And part of that reason is because they launched a meme coin creation, just like Pump.fun or similar to on Solana. And so a lot of that is pivoting over to Tron, causing the Tron price to go. And look, I just can't get into the Tron trade just simply because of Justin Sun. There's just too much controversy and kind of can't get into the Justin Sun narrative or the Tron coin or the Tron trade. But I will tell you this, that I will add it to my others on my cheat sheet, and you can find the link for my cheat sheet below in the description. So I will add that, some entries and some exits. So if you do want to get on the Tron trade, I'm not saying it's a bad trade. It's just not for me. And I think also as well, I'm at the stage of a bull run where I'm looking to make my coins less and not add more coins to my portfolio. I've certainly been using this accumulation dip time to take some coins and roll them into other coins. And I did identify 7 coins that I have been rolling into, and I am going to do an altcoin show on that, but I have mentioned all of these coins on this channel before and also in the Discord. So if you're in the Discord, you'll know exactly what those coins are. Then we have the Bitcoin bull flag, which we'll point out at the end that I drew this bull flag a long time ago, back in May when we started this channel. But certainly we do have an opportunity here that if we break out the 66K level, currently obviously the longer we go, the lower that level gets. But right now it's at about 66K, and the upward technical target would be to about 120,000. Now, if you've seen my Bitcoin prediction video, I have identified 100 to 120,000 as where I feel Bitcoin will land at the market cycle top. I did identify 102,000 or 107,000 as my eventual top of Bitcoin. But yes, we could get up to 120, 127,000. That would still be within the price range. I'm not going along with the 200, 250,000 at this point. Certainly, if there was some changes in the market cycle or structure, I could certainly look to evolve and evaluate that. But for right now, I'm looking at 100 to 120,000. Now, let's look at Bitcoin and the stock market. We have seen that there is not the correlation right now. Whenever there has been a gap, the gap is closed with either the stock market coming down or Bitcoin coming up. So stay tuned for some volatility. I think we might see a little bit of both. I might see the stock market at some point start to come back a little, and people pivot from the stock market into crypto and see crypto push up there. And so I think there is a move to the upside coming. It's just whether or not we see downside first. Now, Bitcoin and gold. This chart is quite crazy. I saw this today and I thought, this is amazing. Thank you, Mr. Crypto. But here you can see Bitcoin on the left and gold on the right. Look at this accumulation here. We see a big pump up, more accumulation, and then gold takes off. Are we going to see the same with Bitcoin? Only time will tell. We'll keep an eye on those charts. And now, the concerning thing now is they lied to us about the job data, and this is going to be the largest downward revision in 15 years. So payrolls, it wasn't not reported correctly. And I do have concerns about this because I wonder if the CPI data is being reported correctly. I don't think it is. We already know, if you do your own research, that they removed some things from the CPI basket. They changed the goalposts. That makes inflation look better than what it is. And so if you were to look and say, hey, what was the measure of CPI 10 years ago? It's different than what it is today because they removed some items from the basket that aren't, because all the CPI number is some items in the basket, food and energy, etc., shelter, and it's put in the basket. And then they create that number. Well, you can't compare it to 10 or 20 or 30 years ago if they're comparing different things. And this also would come down to the recession, because they did the same thing with the recession. Historically, since the world wars, recession had been 2 negative quarters, consecutive quarters of GDP growth, and that happened in the first and second quarter of 2022. And the reason they wouldn't call it a recession, and the reason they changed the goalpost, was because they said the job numbers look too good. But now we know they've been lying about the job numbers, and so that is very, very concerning. Politicians lying, how surprising, okay? But so, yeah, they're very, very interesting there in regards to that. So that could lead, the job number situation could lead to more of a rate cut, because obviously they did not report that correctly. We'll see what happens there, and we'll keep an eye on the impending rate cuts or no rate cuts in September. That is going to be absolutely pivotal. Okay, the hash ribbon signals the end of minor capitulation. We talked about this, and we can see that the selling from the miners is the end. We got the buy signal there, and we're looking to see if this is going to move up as expected. Generally, when there has been the hash ribbons buy indicator, there has generally always been, I think it's only failed 3 out of 19 times, and one of those times obviously was in 2020. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. We also have some very interesting situation with the stable coins. Now remember, stable coins dominance, and then there's stable coins total market cap. So when stable coins dominance jumps up or down, that generally indicates whether people are taking profit or they're selling, whether they're buying or selling. But when the stablecoin's total market cap, that means there is more money that people are taking, fiat, US dollars or whatever dollars, and using that to purchase USDT or USDC. It's hit a record of 165 billion, the highest ever. This increase often signals rising Bitcoin and crypto price. You can see here from the charts, you have the two there, that when you see this market cap go, Bitcoin price tends to go up with it. We'll see how that shakes out. And also recall that the last time we saw some USD printing was when people printed some money to buy that dip recently. So Tether is like the Federal Reserve of crypto. Every time more USDT is minted, the market seems to climb higher. During the latest Bitcoin correction, those USD printers were working overtime. So you've got to know that this is a bullish signal. Let's see what shakes out there. Okay, now we've got some crazy news here, which I'm just waking up to and think this is just wild. I heard this being bandied around, but now they're planning a capital gains tax on money that you didn't actually make and profit that you didn't actually cash in. They want to tax you on unrealized profits. Okay, so if you're in the stock market and you make a $50,000 gain, but you don't cash it in, you leave it and just let it sit there, and then that gain vanishes and comes back down to 100. You already paid 25% tax on a gain on money that you didn't make. What's that going to do? That's going to force you to sell your assets to cover that gain that you didn't make. So now you're double down, and all that's going to lead to is a stock market crash. And I agree, a Great Depression. This would be a catastrophic if this was ever implemented. And so make your vote count when the time comes to vote. That's just one of the most craziest things that I've ever heard. Taxing unrealized gains would mean Americans would owe taxes also on their homes every year. This would bankrupt the average family, because the home would go up in value, and then you get taxed on the home go up on the value. Where's that money going to come from? You didn't realize that profit. You don't have that profit, but you have to pay taxes on a pretend profit that you haven't realized. It's unrealized. You'd have to literally probably sell your house to actually realize that gain, to actually pay the tax. Absolutely crazy. And this would be a way to force Americans out of their homes. This is disastrous economic policy. I can't even believe this is being considered or talked or thought about. Just absolutely wild, okay? And then if you have crypto, so with the stock market, houses, crypto, if Bitcoin goes from 50 to 70,000, but you don't cash out the Bitcoin, you're still going to owe tax on the 20,000 gain that you didn't make. This is absolute insanity. And this will force people to, the stock and crypto market will never grow, because people will just be taking profits at any available opportunity, knowing that if they don't take the profits, they'll be taxed on the profits they didn't take. And if they do take the profits, they'll be taxed on them. So they might as well do that. Okay. Are we in the final phase of the bull market? When the Dixie loses support. And so we're going to jump to the charts now, and we're going to jump to the Dixie. And this is another good, we talked about Bitcoin dominance, ETH, BTC, but also Dixie is another good one to have on your list here. And as you can see, I've identified some support and resistance. We have broken a key trend line. This trend line here has been playing around since July. I like this trend line a little bit better, and we're sitting on it right now. And because that's been in play all the way back for a couple of years, actually. And so we've seen actually the Dixie find support there all the way back in May of 2022. And then again here in January of 23, April of 23. We lost it temporarily in July of 23. And December of 23, we're down here again. We lose this. If we lose this line and we come down and we break below it, we should expect Bitcoin and altcoins and the market in general to have a big push to the upside, okay? And just having a look at the Dixie, you can see whenever the Dixie has dropped, the price of Bitcoin has correlatedly, there's Dixie dropping, Bitcoin price up, Dixie dropping, Bitcoin up. And so we should see Bitcoin push up if we continue to see the Dixie continue to drop. Okay, let's finally just look at the Bitcoin charts here and check out what's going on. There's not a whole lot that has happened. It's really hugging that 200 EMA on the daily. I've identified this as a real key level. Let's go to the daily time frame as we finish up here today. Just check this out. And so therefore what you have is we've just been hugging this line. Now what I expect from here is, as you saw here, when we're hugging this line, we had a parabolic breakthrough into the upside. If we continue to hug this line, I expect the same. I expect that we will push hard. Now, obviously, when this happened, the 50-day moving average was quite separated. Now it's quite close at 61. Okay, so I would expect some resistance here, but we could hug this while this comes all the way down. So let's just create that scenario where we hug this for a while. We bust through a bunch of moving averages here. This ribbon is going to provide some pretty serious, but once we break above, there it is, about 62 to 63, and 63,000 for me is the one, because that's where we broke down from at around 63,000. So once we hit 64 and go above, then I believe that we are off to the races, and we should start to retest the top of this here, which is coming in around about that 69, 70K region. Now, if we keep hugging this and we don't break through, there's going to be a rejection. And to the downside, I'm looking initially, we're going to find some support around 55, 56,000. There you can see there's some support. Then we have this trend line that provided beautiful support last time at around 53. And then my lowest case scenario right now is going to be around 51,500, which would be filling about half of this liquidity candle here that's just been left, around 51,500 there. So that's the other point that I have identified for Bitcoin. So when you're trading, those are the levels to the downside. And then obviously the big level to the upside that we need to break, we're pretty much right on it here. We keep dancing with it. It's sitting at about 59,500 right now. It's a moving average, so it does move. And there's the ribbons start right above that at 59,800. So that's more resistance. And the 50-day moving average is sitting at 61,200 currently. And the top of this ribbon is at 62. So there is a fair bit to get through here. But like I said, if we keep bashing away, and look, we could sit bashing away on here. Last time we sat below here for this long, we were below it for a few months, and we didn't come out of it until actually around about October. So be patient, hang in there, wait, and I do think the market is going to turn around at some point. I just see how that shakes out. And of course, so if you have not yet participated, the free airdrop of the Empire is here. And so that's going to be happening around the end of September, early October, early mid-October sometime. And so it's not too late to get started. The link is below in the description. It's also in my cheat sheet. I've created an airdrop section. I will be adding more airdrops there. This is free money. You just do this in your dead time. Don't spend any serious time on this, please. Do it in your dead time, and you accumulate tokens, which then can be exchanged for real tokens when they do the airdrop. And then you can cash that in for some free money. That's how the airdrop works, okay? For more information, go and check out my video where I cover X Empire. There's 2 or 3 videos there where I cover in great detail how you get set up, how you play the game, and what you do. And I'll look to link those also in the airdrop area so you have some instructions there if you haven't gotten started. All right, I'm going to leave it there. But until the next episode here at Tribal Trades, happy trading.